Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly, and I've got a good one for you today. Just thought I would walk around Newport Beach and check out the sights this morning. Still overcast. It's like 11 days in a row, guys. Overcast weather all day long. It just doesn't break away like it normally does. I have a question, and the question is, does this seem normal to you? Is this normal? Do you think this is normal? What do you think about all this stuff that's going on? Because I think it's anything but normal. Before I get into it, please, as usual, subscribe to the channel. Let's throw it out there. Plus, hit the like button on each video. I really appreciate that. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold Group, and I'll talk about them a little later. But with everything that's going on right now, you have to, move forward. You've got to move your business forward. You've got to move your personal finances forward. You have to just be ready and, work with the cards that you have been dealt. That's that simple. Problem with it is that we kept getting all this disparaging news that is just crazier and crazier and crazier by the week. And to give you an idea, it was just announced through Bloomberg that for planned layoffs in 2023 through May, that we had 417,500 planned layoffs from companies in 2023. And you can sit there and say, oh, that's no big deal. It's not bad. Okay. Now that those numbers are in, the worst that we've seen this is the worst that we've seen it since 2009. So if you don't think that history is repeating itself and that we are going back to a time that is going to be worse than before, I don't know what you're thinking right now, because what we're living through right now is something that is not even close to being at the bottom. It's not even been worked out by any way, shape, or form with the banks, with real estate, with the manufacturing, with everything. And to have 417,000 people lose their job that are adults that were planned. Now understand this, planned layoffs are, we're going to do it on this date and this is when you're going to lose your job. Not counting the stuff that happened quickly. Hey, we have got to lay off 3,000 people this week. The AI things, that's not a planned layoff. That's not included in those numbers. So read the article below because it's wild. It really, puts things into perspective. The real estate industry as a whole right now is suffering dramatically for the simple fact that real estate mortgages, loans hit just above 7% again. So perfect timing. You're building a railing. I'm doing that on site. It's kind of cool, but I'm going to walk away from that. Deutsche Bank steps forward and issues a credit warning, saying that people need to understand that the credit crunch is going to destroy a myriad of different businesses. And the access to capital is a big deal because here is the thing. Not everybody has the money sitting in their bank account to write payroll checks, to pay for materials, to run their business, pay for insurance, pay the light bill, pay everything, and they have to have credit. You have to get credit from suppliers to run your business. And with this crunch happening right now, Deutsche Bank says you're going to see, a myriad of businesses go under, and it's going to affect every industry right now. And the Fed, their nonsense of are they going to raise interest rates? Are they not going to raise interest rates? The problem with it is the interest rates that they've raised, over 5%, it has done so much damage right now to business as a whole that it's not going to be fixed anytime soon. Omega Sporting Goods, down for the count. Just announced that they're closing after 45 years. A sporting goods business that closed after 45 years. Their problem is they're talking about, number one, COVID hurt them, surviving that, the supply chain debacle that they've had ever since then. When you think about that, and I never thought about this till I read this article, that's a really tough industry, sporting goods, because you've got to have everything from baseball, football, tennis rackets, tennis balls, racquetball rackets. I mean, everything. Pickleball's now big. I mean, football, softball, everything, all the different sports, skiing, snow skiing, and you deal with a myriad of suppliers on that. And I think that's the word of the day is myriad. But anyways, all these different suppliers that people have to deal with. And this company just couldn't make it. And now you're seeing more and more companies that are going out of business. Retail crime is a huge problem. One thing that people keep sending me, which I have to admit they're so entertaining, people are starting to shame people that are stealing. You've seen the videos where somebody fills up a shopping cart and then they run out the store and everybody just backs up and, oh my gosh, can you believe they're doing that? Let me pay for my merchandise. And people are fed up with this. People are starting to film it, call them names, yell, block them, do things to help the store because the store security is not going to do anything, but the average person is. And if these people have weapons or guns, it escalates the felony with them. But people are fed up with, their stores being closed. And giant supermarkets, it's 165 stores, they announced that, hey, they're sick of crime. They don't want to close stores. They're telling the public to watch out and do what they can do. Here's one thing that I thought was crazy was razor blades. They lock up razor blades because people use them to cut merchandise open. And I never thought about that. I just thought they wanted to be clean shaven because I'm stupid and I don't steal razor blades. But they have to lock up things like razor blades. And Giant said, we don't want to lock up more expensive merchandise or have it off the floor because it just makes it, less open, less inviting. And let's face it, having to talk to an employee to get them to help you it's a pain. It always is. And I don't have the key. Sharon has the key. Sharon's on her break. You know how we've all experienced this. But the point is that this is getting so bad and so out of control. And I'm glad that the giant supermarket chains taking matters into their own hands. But what's next? What is next? You're seeing more and more stores get affected by the whole food syndrome, where you had this beautiful store that was open a year, guys, and in a year's time, Whole Foods in San Francisco, went down for the count because of crime, and it's just a matter of time until there's more things like this. So this is beautiful. This is out. You've got in the distance Pacific Coast Highway over there. You've got Harbor Island over there. You've got Linda Isle over there. This is Bay Island right here, and it's just high-end real estate out here. It really is crazy. But Bay Island's the island that there are no cars in the island. You have to take a golf cart or walk. And one thing that's happening a lot since I mentioned it was the legacy properties that are here, where mom and dad pass away, they leave the house to their kids and they cannot afford the house. This is happening more and more often now. And it's a real problem. And if you have money, you can buy one of these properties. They've not dropped in price yet, but it amazes me. This house right here, I don't know what it sold for, but it was listed at $17.9 million. Okay? Now, beautiful house. It's got this beautiful dock there. It's got this tree in your backyard, front yard, whatever this is. And the problem with it is you got some mook with a camera. That's what I've always said, is the fact that, I'm walking in this guy's backyard right now. So I don't know what it sold for, though, guys. The instability of everything right now is what people need to get themselves ready for. The student loan mess, at the end of August 30th, everybody's got to start making their student loan payments. And how's that going to go over with everybody? Seriously. Think people are ready for that? I know they're not. And the thing that I learned during this time was people took advances on their student loans because they had a payment reprieve and didn't have to make the payment, but they didn't go to school with the money. They took the money to live on. Stupid is that? Borrow money for 20 or 30 years that you can't go bankrupt on. Okay? Now, all these people that are getting the loans forgiven right now, you can argue that's fair. It's not fair. I have people that have written me in their 50s, and they have been paying diligently on their student loans and are nowhere near it. I talked about a guy last year who took it upon himself to borrow $500,000 for his kids, and he has $5,000 a month student loans payments. It was my obligation to them to get their education. Okay, so he's got $500,000 in student loan debt. That's not his; it's his children's. So let's hope that they're all neurosurgeons and you know, you know, doing great things with their lives. I'm gonna sit here for a second. Share your thoughts on this stuff so far, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. You know, gold has been called many things. Most importantly, they call it a safe haven asset. Reason for that is you can't print gold. It's got to be mined. It's been considered God's currency since the dawn of time. And during market volatility, people always go back to gold. Look at what central banks are doing right now. Look at what billionaires are doing. Look at what big companies are doing. They are investing into gold. You need to call Patriot Gold today, 888-330-1431, and get a free investor guide on how you can get an IRA or 401k that's backed by physical metals. They will sell you metals also, guys. They have them all. And the advantage to Patriot Gold is they are the #1 rated gold and IRA company for 7 years in a row. It's the company I use. Call them today. Get all your questions answered before it's too late. But please understand this. I just saw another prediction today that gold could hit $3,000 an ounce and silver could hit $50 an ounce. You don't want to miss out on this, guys. It's time to call Patriot Gold today, 888-330-1431, before it's too late. There's so much more banking news right now. And Sally wrote me and brought up a great point about how people need to use their credit card for paying their bills and not their debit cards. I want you to think about this. I was speaking to an executive at Bank of America, and she told me never use your debit card, Dan, to pay bills. Nothing. Use it to get cash out of your account. Okay, I thought I was supposed to use it at the grocery store. No, use a credit card, because if you ever have any fraud, you're not going to have a problem because the credit card will fight for you. With the debit cards, they're not fighting for you. I don't even bank there, and she told me this. Now, Sally's advice is the same thing. Use the credit cards that have some type of bonus plan, whether it's cash back or miles or whatever. Now, a friend of mine has a Chase card, and they get paid back. Their bonuses are gas cards. And he says, Dan, I've not paid for gasoline for my business in 2 years because we buy everything on the Chase card, pay it off at the end of the month, and we get gift cards for cash every month based on their purchases. And it's amazing. It really is. People keep writing me about Santander Bank in the UK. And Santander Bank is limiting cash that you're putting in the bank. Where did this cash come from? What do you mean? We want to know where it came from. And they're making it more and more difficult for people to put cash in and take cash out in the UK. And that is coming here. It's coming to Canada. It is going to be everywhere. Soon you're not going to be able to have cash. You have all the brokerage companies. I don't know of one right now that will allow you to put a money order in as a deposit. Now remember, a money order is an instrument of payment. People that don't have a checking account get money orders. And I've bought money orders, I can't tell you how many times. And the greatest thing is at the post office, oh yeah, I gotta pay that bill. Hey, can I get a money order? Oh, how much are there? Oh, they're 90 cents now. So very convenient, but you cannot deposit those into a brokerage account now. If you guys have a brokerage account that will take money orders, let me know. Because as of right now, we're not, I don't know of anybody that's doing this. Morgan Stanley, they are at their lowest level of their stock since pre-pandemic levels, and that things are dropping again, and they're at a very, very low level right now as far as the stock price. And they attribute it to the economy, the tightening of credit, and problems with the marketplace in general. And again, the thing about this is when you talk about Morgan Stanley, and let's use Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, this is not the average bank that we get to go to. It's usually higher net worth individuals deal with places like this, and they are cutting back and they are limiting the amount of withdrawals that people can take out. And where'd the money come from? How about that? Now, Morgan Stanley, I don't know if they have branches. Okay, I know that they have offices, but I don't know if you could walk in there and put a cash deposit at a Morgan Stanley like you could a Bank of America or Wells Fargo or Citi or Chase, But we haven't seen the end of the banking mess right now. And people keep writing me about this, and the restrictions are getting worse. And the restrictions on small business are getting worse. And I've told you guys this, you have to do this because I was in business once and I had a credit line and they walked, the idiot that ran the bank didn't know what I sold for a living. And I had to explain it to him. I don't like this. Anybody buy those? Okay. So needless to say, they cut my credit line off, and I promised him that the first person I was going to sue was not going to be the bank, it's going to be you. And ended up settling with them, and it was, a debacle, and I had to get my attorney involved. But this is the beginning of this, guys. This is 2006 and 2007 all over again, where things appear to be okay, but they're not okay. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because there's a lot of wealth out there. There's a lot of people that still have money right now, but you need to cut back and you need to make changes in your life financially and look at the signs around you, because, like I said, does this look normal to you? Because it's not normal. What we're living through is anything but normal right now. And I have people that write me and say, travel, people want to do revenge travel. What an idiot. The person that wrote me that one, you're an imbecile. Revenge travel. No, people are pent up. People do want to get out, but the hotel rooms are at a huge price right now. Consumer spending is up right now. It was up in April. That's the latest number that we have. Basically follows a month behind. And the problem is inflation, is up too. So people are spending more money for less goods. Remember that. We have not seen the end of food inflation yet. You're going to see major, major problems with food in the coming months, to say the least. So share your thoughts on this stuff so far. Let me know what you think, but you haven't seen anything yet as far as inflation, the banking situation, and just the beginning. With the threat of interest rates rising, we are seeing real estate prices, still at record highs, but people cannot catch a break. And there's a great article below about how with the 7% interest rate, it's just making affordability out the window. And, when's that going to end, guys? You think it's just going to change all of a sudden? No, it's just not. We just heard that there was, think about this number, $31.6 billion left banks last week. The last week of May, $31.6 billion left the banks and went to money market funds. Investment houses, different banks, high-end banks, money market funds, and get out of a conventional bank. That's a ton. There is over $4 trillion that has been moved to money market funds since the banking shenanigans happened 11 weeks ago. It's only been 11 weeks, guys, since all this started. So in that time, all that money's been moved from point A to point B. Now, the Vanguard Group, you've heard of them. They are the world's largest seller of mutual funds. They just got fined by the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, or FINRA, is what they're called. FINRA just fined them $800,000 for misleading people and not appropriately saying what the proper interest rate that people are earning is on their instruments and products. In other words, guys, they printed statements to 8.5 million people that they said you're earning this when it was really this. Well, that's bad, and they only got $800,000 for that. So, again, does that seem normal to you? Because it's not normal. This is not normal behavior that people are, there's just no responsibility. 800 grand is nothing. Oh, it's a big fine. No, it's not. It's a joke to Vanguard. It's lunch money to Vanguard. So have you guys noticed anything wrong with your bank? Have you noticed the same thing I am, that all the financial institutions I deal with are making me agree to new terms before I log in? They all want us to go paperless too, which don't do. I'm telling you, paper statements, guys. You can go wireless too, or paperless, but make sure you have a paper statement, because you'll read the paper statement over the online statement. Share your thoughts on this stuff so far, but it's too much at this point. It's too much money. These fines are a problem. The fact that interest rates are as high as they are, and they're not going down. You know, the Fed's talking about, you know, there's a great article about not raising interest rates at the next meeting. Oh, they're going to raise interest rates. If you look at the differing opinions that are in this video right now, you'd believe that they're going to go up half a point or they're not going to do anything. So what's it going to be? The only thing that's going to be is they're not going to lower interest rates. That's the one thing you have to understand. And the fact that credit is drying up as we know it right now is a huge problem. You're seeing more and more people that cannot get access to funding right now. And the interest rates on credit cards are going through the roof right now. And people are having to rely on credit more than ever right now just to pay their bills. And it is no way to live. I've been there. It's awful. It is horrific. And it takes a miracle to get out of stuff like that. And you've got to cut back and change the way that you spend and change, you know, everything. People don't want to be on a budget. People don't want to worry about, you know, paying their bills and separating things and oh, I can't afford this, I'm gonna go without. People don't want to hear about that. You know, it's crazy when you see people cutting things back, the gym memberships, the cable TV, the extra internet, things like that. That's when you notice that things are a problem right now. I'm going to finish this video with these last few stories. And the first one is Amazon. Amazon just settled a massive privacy lawsuit. And they did it for over $30 million when you add it all up. But what's crazy is, think about this. Alexa listening in to kids. Okay, that's bad. How about this? In 2017, Amazon sent out to all its employees that could have access to every Ring doorbell. So they could watch your Ring doorbell. Oh yeah, let's watch that guy walk in front with this camera. Isn't that crazy? So needless to say, they settled that because it was an invasion of privacy. Okay? If you don't think that those devices are listening to you, you're crazy. I had dinner with a friend a couple weeks ago, and we were joking about this. And I said, watch, we can talk about things, lay our phone on the table, and let's talk about hotels, let's talk about trips and things like that. Opened up our phones that were closed, and sure enough, we got ads for things that we were talking about. Okay? So crazy. That happens all the time. City of Westminster, California, they just arrested people that ran an illegal casino in their house. Nobody ever invites me over to stuff like that, you know? Hey, come over and play slot machines at my house, you know? I thought that was hilarious, to say the least. So, final story is Timothy Bleefnick. He's a degenerate, okay? But Mr. Bleefnick did something that's going to go down in history forever, and he was on the show Family Feud. And the question for him was, name something you regret at your wedding. And he said, saying I do. Ha 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 ha. Isn't that funny? Yeah. Only problem is the guy yesterday got convicted of killing his wife. So he killed Rebecca, okay, and got convicted of it. So forever, this murderer, not alleged, convicted murderer, is going to have that Family Feud footage, you know, forever. So story is below. You can watch it. And haha, it's fun. It's funny, but it's not funny because he's a degenerate, okay? So it's sick and twisted. And I wonder if that goes into the Dan drinking game as being weird. Please don't forget to like the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Just a quick one for you today. Onward and upward, guys. I will see you guys very soon. If you want to reach out to me, hello@iAllegedly.com. I will see you guys very soon.